Welcome to the video. This video is going to be purely about how this thing went over the last couple of days on our little trip out to Stockyard Gully Caves and around Three Springs. Car handled brilliantly. The suspension was pretty damn good. Still haven't pumped the tyres up as we went down the beach the other day, but suspension awesome, a little bit more firmer, can feel a bit more in the road, but handled beautifully. Feels a lot more planted on the road as well, so happy with that. Do need to look at getting a wheel alignment. I just noticed that like the outside here seems to be wearing a little bit more than the inside, but we'll have to look into that as well. As for the rooftop tent setup, solar and the awning, perfect. Couldn't be more happy with that. We might have to look into, say, an electric blanket or just rugging up a bit more, I think. I did go to bed with shorts and a shirt on and the blanket, and I did find it bloody freezing. So reading on the forums, people are using electric blankets, 12-volt electric blankets. Don't know how I feel about them. If we can get one cheap enough, we might look at it, but it might just be a case of wearing a jumper and trackies. And lighting. Lighting was a big problem. Yeah, I sort of forgot that I took the side lights off, and it sort of hit me in the arse a little bit there, but it was one of those things that was ordered a while back, and Australia Post have just sort of been all over the shop, but they're here now. Some more products from Drifter. Picked up a couple of their lights, some 900mm lights. They've got orange glow to them, orange and white sort of glow to them. So I'm excited to see how they go. We picked up 3 lights, one for under the awning, one for the back door maybe, and one for under the front of the tent as a little patio sort of light. Now also with Drifter, I picked up a dirty gear bag. Been chasing one for a while now, and they had them in stock. Why not get them all in one sort of package? But a dirty gear bag, rubbish bag, whatever you call it. I don't know, I've been missing the ones since I had the King's ones, which sort of fell apart in my hands. But dirty gear bag, you can chuck in firewood, you can chuck in your rubbish, you can sort of chuck in a bit of everything there. So we'll get that on there as well today. Now, as for the second row sort of setup, testing all that setup out, yeah, over the moon with it, but we did run into one problem, and that is storage, which a couple of you had good ideas to put little drawers in there. It's not going to happen with the battery that we're getting on the way. It's about double the size of one we got now, and it's not going to happen. So I am probably going to look at getting, well, I think we have got a longer container from when we bought them over in Queensland, and stacking them up a bit more, because it was just a pain trying to get into each of these boxes when they were stacked like that. And it was just a little bit of a pain, everything sort of stacked up on top of each other. We had the cooking gear here, and then we had the cutlery and sort of plates and bowls in another box stacked on top of each other, and then the clothes and stuff sort of hiding behind it. But it was just a little bit of a pain. If we can have a long box in through there with everything sort of packed into it, just make it a lot easier, I think. So we'll try and get onto that. As for this other side, top notch, can't complain one bit. Using the back of the car, the K-on sort of table to prep everything, and then just bring it straight around here, having a flat surface to use the cooker, pull the tray out, put the tray on top of there, flip or do whatever we have to do there, put the tray back in. Beautiful. It's a bit filthy as well, because we've simply been using this cooker every day for work. It's been bloody brilliant. It's not just for traveling, it's been used for work. So yeah, really happy with that. One problem though with the water tank, which I have sort of got a way around it, I'm not too sure if we'll get to it in this video, but the sloshing of the water, when the water gets down a bit lower, I wouldn't say it's a nightmare. You can just hear it when you're going over slow, four-wheel drivey sort of areas. So maybe if we can get some carpet and put it in there, some sort of foam. Now, electrics. How do I say it? Still waiting on Aussie Post. And you order something express post over a month ago and it hasn't turned up. Who knows what's going on, but they're telling me it's still on the way, so I don't know, we'll see what happens. We did get Anderson plugs, so we can clean a lot of this sort of cable up, and we still can't fully fix these down, as we're just still waiting on that Victron battery monitor thing to sort of tie all those loose ends up there. But the inverter worked perfectly. Charged the laptop, charged Makita batteries pretty much the whole time, and not once did I hear the fan come on, or both fans come on. And pretty much the whole time we had this cooker on as well, and it was nice. I wouldn't say it was cool now, it was warm. So saying that, the little King's pump, I don't know if it will be going in there. I've read your comments, they do get bloody hot. So I don't know, if we can store it in there, it might be all right, and we'll pull it out and plug it in to use it. Or, I don't know, yeah, probably won't be going in there, as a heat will just be too much, I think. So power as well from the inverter. We haven't fixed this down anywhere, simply because I'm waiting until we can completely tie this up, screw it down. We'll probably have one power point here, and we'll send another one down the back there, so that we can, touch wood, run a induction cooktop, just a cheap one from Kmart, 50 bucks or something. But that sort of all revolves around the battery management system. I don't want to go and buy an induction cooktop until I've got the battery management, just to see how much it draws, what sort of power is going where. But yeah, so that's not going to get mounted today. It's probably going to wait until the battery management's going to turn up whenever Aussie Post get there. So I guess we'll crack on. I guess we'll start with the fridge, get an Anderson plug on that, and go from there. So the first little job we got is this little plug, which, if you can see that, the plug's melted. Still works, it's just a little bit fiddly, and it only happened the day after I got home. Well, probably happened that night, but the day after I got home, come out and the fridge and freezer was off. Luckily everything was okay. Just never really got around to putting an Anderson plug on it, and the Anderson plug's only just arrived, so that's going to be the first job. Get this back panel off, get an Anderson plug on there, and then put an Anderson plug on here, so it's fully hardwired. So one job down, that is the Anderson plug mounted there, and I'm bloody happy with that. That ain't coming undone at all. To see that melted, and then I pulled the fuse out of the fridge as well. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but that fuse is, well, it's gone. It's rated at 15 amps, but that is melted and falling apart in my fingers here. Still worked, just completely knackered. And as for the fridge is bloody good, can't complain. What was it, $6.99 I think when I first bought it, 95 litre dual zone, and the only problem we've had is that, just there, the melted sort of ends. And it has got a bit noisy over the last couple of months. The compressors, I don't know what's happened there, it must have taken a bump, but a little bit noisy, if you can hear it. Which, when you're sitting up front and you've got everything in the way here, you can't hear it at all, but still works perfectly fine, so bloody over the moon with it. Anywho, on to the next job. As for the fuse as well, for this big thing, we're no longer using that fuse. We are using the fuse that's under this little box here in the fuse box. Been running it off a 10 amp with that 15 amp sort of in line with each other. We're sort of just cutting that out now, just running it off the 10 amp. So touch wood, should be good. It's around less than a metre of cable run there. So I guess we'll play it by ear there. Should be right though. So these are I guess the strip lights that I picked up from Drifter. Can't remember how much they were exactly. They weren't cheap, but the reason I went for these is they're completely waterproof. They are, got these little fittings here, waterproof fittings as well, I believe. And they've got a white light and a orange light. So yeah, pretty decent. I guess we can pop rivet them on, or I do believe they're magnetic, but we'll look into that. Two 900mm and a small 375 for maybe the back of the car. Not too sure what I'm going to do with that one, but we just got it just in case. Three-way splitter, and I believe all this stuff came free as a little special deal they had. So cigarette plugs, which are 3 meters each, so I guess we can cut and play with all that stuff and wire it in with those wires, and little individual dimmers, which I'm not too sure if they're waterproof. Yeah, not 100% sure if they're waterproof there. Be good if they are. So that's going to do us. We've got one 900mm. It's going to go under the awning there somewhere. The other 900 is going to go under the other side of the tent as a little, I guess, like a light looking down on the stairs. Sort of a balcony little light. And we're not too sure about the 375mm one. Maybe at the back of the car. We'll play that by ear. But we'll plug one in, see what it looks like. Well, here they are. you've got white lights and then orange lights. And you can have them both on at the same time, and I guess we'll see if the dimmer, that's alright. So the dimmer works with them both. I'm guessing the dimmer just cuts the power right down. But that's pretty good, I like that. So I guess we'll look at mounting them up. But a nice bit of kit there. And they are magnetic, so that's pretty handy. So sitting up in the tent, we do have this light, which is a USB powered. Oh, there's my torch that I needed at Stockyard Gully Caves. But we do have this light which runs off USB power. Looking at it now, a 900mm one hardwired would probably be top notch there. And then this smaller one, you can mount it out here somewhere. That may be an idea. Just to save having to charge that USB plug up the whole time. So I might look into doing that. Seems like a good idea, have a think about it. But so we managed to get it pretty much done. It's pretty basic. Simply done with cable ties there. We just couldn't get it in the little sleeve that the previous one was in. Just wrong size, didn't really fit. But we've managed to get it hooked up, on, and the dimmer over here. So that's pretty cool. And we've even managed to get the one outside as well, which, excuse that, I've siliconed it on. So if I need to take it off, I can just run a knife under it instead of pop ribbing it in. But this one's on as well, with a dimmer. But I guess with all lights on, not dimmed at all, amber and white in there, it is drawing 2.7 amps, which is pretty much nothing. Pretty happy with that. And if we say switch off the amber, 1.7, so happy days. Anyway, we'll try and fit this wheel cover, and then we'll get back out tonight and see what these look like in the dark. And that was only with the 2 lights, so the 3rd light will be going under the awning here. I'm just waiting for some different brackets for this awning, as I want to lift it up a little bit more and get a couple more bolts in it. We've had to change the system around a little bit with the rooftop tent on there, but the brackets are on their way. I'm not too sure when they're going to get here. So we'll get the 3rd light on whenever that's all done up properly with the new brackets. But let's get this wheel cover on. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to loosen everything there. So after a lot of struggling and busted knuckles, it's on there. It's just not on there with the Max Tracks, or treads or whatever they are. Just couldn't seem to get them to fit between this little gap here. I've seen pictures of them on there. I'm not too sure if Max Tracks are a bit skinnier than these treads, but I might have to check, because I've seen a couple of pictures where they fit between there and they sort of sandwich up against the wheel, or sandwich between the wheel and the bag. But I'll keep looking into that, because I can't really afford not to take them. They're handy things for leveling out the car, the rooftop tent, leveling it out for night, and well, just in case you get bogged as well. So yeah, we'll look into that. But this bag is it's a bloody good bag. Beautiful pocket in there, and then you pull this forward and then it's got a completely different pocket as well. So I like that a lot. But that'll solve one problem as well, rubbish wise, because I just had a big sort of passenger seat or passenger footwell full of rubbish, all loaded up in a bag. It was just a bit of a pain. But anywho, we'll guess we'll go and have a beer, wait until the sun goes down a bit, the wind's slowly dropping, and we'll see what these lights look like. Also on this bag, I thought it was a completely different compartment. Turns out, I don't know if I can do this one-handed, you completely pull it. Completely pull this out, as a rubbish bag, which is really handy. That's good. That I didn't even know about that, but that's really handy. That. Well, that's turned out alright. Bloody good, that. Pretty happy with that. It shines a lot sort of down there on the floor where you can see, I guess you can see the ladder. See what you're looking at when you're trying to climb up in here. But we'll put the orange ones on, see what that looks like. I'm not too sure about orange ones. People say bugs sort of aren't really as attracted to orange ones, but I don't know, we'll see how it goes there. And even the orange one shines a lot down there, which is good. So I'm happy with that. That's bloody top notch. Well, that's pretty much going to be it for this little, I guess, short update on the car, how it went, a couple of little upgrades we've done. Just waiting for Aussie Post really, that little battery management system. Sort of taken forever to get here, but a couple of little things done which should make life a little bit easier. Still haven't got a place for the Mack tracks. If you know of anywhere to put them, or even if I can find out how they put them behind there, that'll be bloody top notch. But that's going to do us. And I'm still looking into the, I guess, the prospecting a little trip away, and I guess the next sort of trip's probably going to be Mount Augustus. I'm looking at doing Mount Augustus. But also that revolves around work as well, because that's probably going to be around a week-long trip, as it's around 6 to 8 hours, I think, from here. But that's sort of planning in the background, so we'll get to that when we get to it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. Bit of a different one, bit of a sort of update on how everything went, but overall pretty happy with the damn thing. So work is taking up a lot of time as well, and it will be for the foreseeable future, I guess. So we'll be dropping back to one video a week, but it won't all be about the vehicle as well. I'm starting to get back into the fishing, so touch wood, we'll be down the beach fishing a bit more on the west coast, not on the east coast this time. But anyway, we'll see you on the next one. Bare bones, cable tie, excuse the Midwest WA wind. But also on this bag, I thought it was a completely different part. Also, well, that's turned out all right. These videos may turn into, I guess, a couple of fishing videos, a couple of something.